this computer. Recording, smile. Okay, it's 3 minutes in, and we've talked a lot about quarantine. That's the spirit of the season. Hi, John.
Hey.
John.
Hey, John, how's it going?
But I figured to keep on track, we should probably jump into demos and retros. Retros might take a little longer than they usually will this time, since it's like the first time we're kind of like figuring it out and kind of digging a little deep. So who are we? We're missing Diane.
Yeah.
I think we could probably just go ahead and start with the other group on demos, and then when Diane jumps in.
Oh, she just sent a Slack message. She says she can't find the email. Yeah. Thanks, Jennifer.
Did she get it? Did she get the link?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Slack.
Cool.
Posted it. Yeah.
Hi, Diane. Oh, look at you,
Hey.
Golden Gate. Okay, how was last week? You guys killed it. It was amazing. It was such a shining light in such a dark time, and I appreciate you all.
Yeah, really.
What'd you think? What was significant?
I feel like the concept sunk in a bit more for me this week. I felt a little bit out of last week. And both Jen and Diane were extremely enjoyable to work with. They just were very forthcoming with their information and their sharing of knowledge. So yeah, I just felt like a little bit more in tune with everybody this week, I think, because last week I felt a bit like it was a lot of new information, but this week I felt like things kind of clicked. So that was good. Totally
starting to get into a groove. That's good. What about the rest of y'all?
I think it would be the same for me. I thought it was actually going to be I'd catch on a little bit faster, but not the case. But it's all good. I'm still learning. So and especially with Diane and Jen, I'll echo what Ashling just said. I'm like, dude, they're awesome. They've got a lot of knowledge. So especially now, and just pretty much juggling the collab, meeting up with everyone else, and also trying to settle in at a new job, and then throw in this whole thing that's going on. I'm like, oh geez, how much more do we need?
Yeah, it's a lot at once.
It totally is. And now it's like, I don't know what the heck's going on with my internet right now. So now I'm on my cell phone. We're making it work.
It'll work. If you have any troubles, like just let us know. Like when we do retro or anything, we can work something out.
Yeah.
Jennifer, Diane, have anything significant you want to share? It's okay if you don't. Oh. Can't hear Jennifer. We'll roll with Diane. See what Jennifer can figure out.
No, well, I mean, do I just go?
Yeah, go ahead. You don't have to share anything if you don't want.
Yeah, no, this week was really great working with Aisling and Lauren again. I think we had a lot of roadblocks just because it's all new, like stuff that we've never really worked with, and we did a lot of digging, a lot of researching, and even at that, like when we hit a roadblock, Lauren was always there to help us. And it really I'm surprised, well, not surprised we got it done, but I'm like very happy I got something done this week with all the craziness that's happened. It feels nice to have a couple of wins during the week.
Yeah.
And not feeling alone.
Aww. Not alone here.
Nope.
Our little remote family.
Yeah.
What about you, Jen?
You guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think, it's been nice to have something to work on because, just staying at home with the kid all day, and just like my uncle is in rehab right now too, for like he broke his back, and so it's been pretty crazy, and So, but having this is like really nice to just like actually have something I can focus on my time on. And it's always nice I was never that confident with React. And so it's nice to actually have the time to actually practice it with other people.
Totally.
And also have a reminder that there's a package for everything. So don't write everything from scratch.
Yes, exactly that. I totally feel you on the like needing a distraction, like being home with the kids all the time. Like that, now that schools and stuff are canceled and it's just like you with kids all the time. For me, it's like I crave work. I crave like being intellectually stimulated and taking like a freaking break from Elsa. Okay.
Yeah. Or nursery rhymes.
Gotta get on that Coco Melon on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, who wants to demo? Everybody's here now. So whoever's ready to go.
I guess we can demo. Are you on your phone, John? So
I am on my phone. I don't know what the heck is going on
want
now.
to talk and I'll try to click on things? We could try that first and see if you like that. If not,
sure, we can give it a shot.
Let's see. Let's try.
No pressure, no judgment. We get internet troubles, especially in this time where everyone's at home on their internet.
Yep.
Extra grace, all the grace.
Yeah, I think I saw that they're capping Netflix stream quality in Europe right now.
Oh,
well,
I saw
that makes sense.
Yeah, the bandwidth is just so insane over there right now, especially in Italy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure Netflix engineers are like, their hair's on fire right now.
They must
never
hate
seen
me
so
right
much
now,
traffic
though,
at the
too.
same time, probably.
Well, I like run my own server here and my brothers share it with me. So I'm like, oh man, I'm just so glad I don't have a cap on my uploads.
Yeah, so can you see the screen share, John?
Barely. It's tiny.
Okay. Well, then do you want me to go ahead and just like
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. So basically, let's pull up our GitHub issue. Our GitHub issue this last week that was closed was basically to create a token that will be how we actually access a new shopping list, and we should be able to store it in local storage and then redirect the list view once it's been created. And since it's stored in local storage, it should persist even if you exit from the website and come back again. So little demo of our little button. Now it actually is a button. It was a link before. But if you just click on it, if you take a look at the console log actually in the bottom, which I actually want to go in this one. If you look at the console log on the bottom, you can see that it logs actually the object of the state that we're saving the token in state. And right now it's null. When you click on the create new list button, now it logs the token again because it's been re-rendered, and now you have the token down here. And if we open up it up again over in another tab, if I can just get it to work, let's see. It should automatically redirect because the token has been saved to local storage. So now then if you also close the incognito tab and open it again, that token is no longer there in local storage. And so then you can click the new create new list button again. And so if we go over to the code and expand that, basically what we did was we created a new component. Oh. That's why. Okay. So we created a new component, new list button. And what all this component is that it's actually a link from React Router DOM and with a button nested inside. And we kind of stole the styling from footer tabs over here. And what it does is it takes in a prop, which is, we wanted to save token state on the app level, so we need props for this case. So it takes in a prop, and it also has an on-click handler over here, which takes in the event, and then it generates the new token from the code that Andrew actually gave us from the gist. And then we actually have the token set to props back to set token. And so if we go back to the app.js over here, eat this stuff, just testing. What you can see here is that, oh, not in.
If you, it looks like your app.js might be out of date.
If I close it and open it again, is that?
Yeah, if you close it and then don't save it and then open it, you're gonna have the latest change.
Yeah, okay, there we go. All right, so basically here, we created a use state call to create state, a token state, and we also created a set token. The default token is this package called local storage from NPM, and it has really easy methods to just, you import the whole library as ls, and then you can do .get or .set. And so in the previous one, we were able to set local storage. And so for this one, we get it. And this returns null if there's nothing, if there's no object with this actual key in local storage. And so that's great for us because we can just use a ternary operator to conditionally render based on null or not null. And then so we also got a cool tip from Lauren over here about unpacking our token object over here so that we don't have to do, like, we don't have to comment our console log with strings. And so it'll automatically unpack it with the actual name of the key that was invoked. So that was really great. But yeah, so anyways, the only other thing here is that we have that ternary operator I was talking about. And we chose a redirect to shopping list so that it actually automatically goes to shopping list once the token is actually set. Otherwise, new list button is rendered. So that's our code for the week. Any questions?
That's awesome. I love the redirect. One thing I left in the pull request was that if possible, was try and keep console logs out of production. I think that's something that you'll find on a lot of professional dev teams. Instead though, for that token, you can just pop into your console's, like, I think it's under application, local storage to see like whether or not there's a token there. So you still have access to that information in the console. But this is beautiful. You guys did an amazing job.
Yeah. Is this your first time working with local storage?
Yeah. That's why I was like, there's a package for everything. So it makes it really easy. John and I were a bit nervous at first, and then we found the package. John found the package. It was a quick Google, and we're like, all right, we're in business. It actually works.
Awesome.
Nice. That's a nice solution. I like it a lot.
Work smarter, not harder.
That's great.
Exactly.
Right.
Cool. Next group. Good work, team.
Cool. Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for us, we weren't able to merge it because on Netlify it's still checking our latest PR.
That's fine.
I'll just spin up my local store, my local. If I have one, I do not. Okay, so I guess I'll show what we did first. So yeah, so for us, it was, do you guys need to see the task?
You can just explain it to us.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had to create, add a form to add a new item to an existing shopping list. So we kind of had to collaborate with Jen and John to figure out like their token, how they were setting it so that we could set it in the database in Firestore later. So yeah, we have 3 fields, the name of the item, the how soon you're likely to buy it again, in a and then the last time they purchased the item. So I'm just going to test it. So for now, when you submit it, an alert is just going to come up just to say that it's been successfully added to the database. Don't know if I have anything in the console. No, remove that. And then, so my local storage, because I had pulled Jen John's PR, there, so mine's FOSS-LAMR uptake. And I think I wrote potatoes. So yeah, so it creates an object in FOSS-LAMR uptake with an ID that's randomly generated by a package suggested by Jen, and the name, the last purchase date, and the frequency that we want it to be bought at. Oh, it might have been another one. I have a lot of potatoes I want. So yeah, so that's basically what our form does. In the code, so yeah, we use the state as well, for the item name, the time frame, and the last purchase date. We also, the UUID is for the ID of the data that we're storing into Firebase. So in there we update the ID, the name, the time frame. Because it's an integer that we wanted, we had to parse in the string that gets passed, and the last purchase date. And then we just add it to the database. And then here is the form. It's pretty straightforward. You have name on the chain, on change. Yeah, we'll change the event to the name. The time frame is whatever option you have. The default is 7. So it'll either say 7 or another item, and the last purchase date. With Lauren, we had tried to clear the form by, unlike the then just changing the user state, but it only updated the item name and not the selected or the date. So we'll get to that issue on another day.
Well, I think I saw that you created an actual issue for that, right?
Yeah, because or else I'll definitely forget.
That's amazing.
That's
I'm wondering if you go back to Firestore.
Yes.
So whenever you pull up the items, they have their own Firebase generated ID here. I'm wondering if we can't use that ID as a reference wherever we need it, rather than also storing an additional ID inside the item. It's fine to like have it in there, but I wonder if we could clean up the database a little bit by getting rid of that and using the document ID instead. Not a change that needs to be made, just a suggestion if get extra time and you want to tackle that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we definitely can. I think the logic behind that was that each object should have its own ID so that we can pull it. But yeah, if the document ID works as well, then we can just eliminate a step.
Awesome. This looks great. I love it.
Job. That's so cool to see it update in the database. That's awesome. That's neat.
Love it. Great work, team. Any questions on this one from anybody? This was a super cool one.
Oh, I guess I also forgot to say how we passed the token, but
hey, how do you guys handle that?
I'm like, it was actually once they had set their token with their new button list, we just passed it as a prop in our add item from the app.js, and then this goes to the page add item, I believe, that we're passing as a prop, and then we pass that token to the form, which again, Lauren suggested we put it in curly braces because it just extracts the string directly instead of the object, because I had found a much more complicated solution to that. But this worked just as fine. But yeah, that's a token. So thank you guys for pushing, because before it was just dummy data that we had.
How did that collaboration go for you all as like a whole team, figuring out how the token was being handled?
I think it was really, we got on a call pretty early on during the week. I think once we started looking into it though, like I was kind of confused about the local store, like they were setting it in the local storage and I was supposed to set it in the database. So there was kind of a disconnect for a couple of days where I was like, what am I doing? Like, how am I using this token? And then I think with the help of Lauren, we kind of cleared that up pretty quick. And yeah, I kind of like cleared up yesterday or before yesterday, to be honest.
That's cool. That's like a really tricky part of this project, is whenever your issues like really go hand in hand like that and you have to actually like collaborate as a whole team instead of just as a pair. So you guys handled that like total champs.
Yeah, fantastic job, everybody.
A+. Good job. Okay.
As like a general question though, like in the workplace, when you have two issues that are very, very close to each other, would someone usually take on those two issues individually? Or does it really get split up? Like, I guess it just depends on the scale of the issue.
So I can speak from my experience. So when we have two tightly coupled issues, let's say for instance, we need this new API endpoint to do something. So there's a backend ticket to actually build that endpoint. And then there's a UI ticket to actually talk to that endpoint and manipulate any data that gets pulled down. Those are usually picked up by two different people. Someone takes the API side, someone takes the UI side. And so like for the UI side, for instance, we might just mock that endpoint and say, like, I'm going to talk to the backend developer and get a contract for what our data shape should look like. And then once you have that contract nailed down, I can just mock what it would be like to actually get that data and use that data in a way that I actually don't need his or her work complete before I can start on my work. So getting that API contract down first, I think, is a good way to work on things that are like really tightly coupled. But it sounds like everybody had like a good idea where everybody was using like a dummy string to talk to the database, which is a really good starting point. So I feel like everybody kind of figured it out.
Yeah, I think you guys were totally on the right track with the way you were handling it. And I think too, like in like a professional setting at work, there's a lot of planning that goes into it before like jumping into doing any of the coding. So it's like, whereas like in collab-lab, we're like, we have 1 week and we only have 5 hours, so we don't have a lot of time to get stuff done. So let's like jump in there and do the thing. In like your actual job, you'd probably spend a lot more time like documenting what you were going to do and talking about it and like getting on the same page. And people are more available, obviously, because it's not like, hey, there's 4 of us who are working after hours for 5 hours for the week. Like, when can we get together? So I think it would it'd be a little more natural of a flow than what you might experience here just because of time constraints.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, this is great. All right. If you want to stop your screen share, we can jump into retros if everybody's ready for the first retro. I'll share my screen too. Let's kick you out. Can you stop your screen share for me, Diane? Okay, got it. Now I'm going to screen share with you. Full screen this. Figure out how to do it. Here we go. Share. Okay. So, okay, before we move on from that, let's clean this up. Issue number 3, John's and Jen's, that's merged, right? I think so. I think it is. Oh, here's another hot tip. When you are creating your pull requests, if you write in the body of the pull request, like closes number 3, closes #3, when you actually merge that into master, it'll automatically close the issue for you. So you don't have to actually go in and close that. So if one of you wouldn't mind just popping in here and closing the issue, moving it to done. And this one we're still waiting on. So as soon as that one's done, if the team could close it and move it too, just to keep that clean, that would be dope.
Yeah. If the Netlify checks just don't, because it's been running for an hour or two. If they don't go through, do we still merge it?
I don't know if it'll let you merge it without those checks having passed. Let me take a look. It's
okay. We'll check it.
It will. It looks like it's giving you the option to. Let's wait a little bit longer and then maybe try to re-trigger those checks again before merging. Just keep us in the loop in Slack after this call to see what happens, and we'll make sure it gets merged.
Okay, sounds good.
Great work. Okay, so I'm gonna send you a link to this retro board. Okay, so retro's high level. On the professional teams that you join, you'll likely have regular retros where you talk about how things went, what was good, and what could improve. And this is a pretty standard practice that is handled in a bunch of different ways, but the way that we're gonna handle it at collab-lab is we're just gonna use a GitHub project like you use for your issues. We're gonna have a column for appreciations where you can share love for people on your team, and just let people know that you appreciate them, or let things know that you appreciate them. Maybe you really appreciated some library that you used or something. This is where you can just show love and feel good and be happy. What went well is going to be things in the last 2 weeks that you think really helped us move forward as a team, or that you really enjoyed, made your life easier, and made the project run a little smoother. And what prevented us from making progress and what we could do better is, just as it sounds, things that we can improve on. And this is a super safe space. And the only way that you can really improve as a team or as an individual is if you actually give like this transparent feedback here. So know that this is the purpose of this. It's not to like, sugarcoat things, be nice, obviously, but this is where we need to like get to the heart of the matter of how we could work better as a team and how we could improve the project. So those are things we're going to work on. We will give it, let's see, we have about 30 minutes left. So since this is our first one, we'll give it 15 minutes this time to write these down. You can do up to 3 cards in each of these, because what'll happen when that 15 minutes is over is we'll each go through and read the cards that we wrote. And if you want to elaborate on them briefly, you can do that as well. So we'll kind of have to hustle on that. But I know this first time it can be a little bit, more of a challenge to kind of get your thoughts out there. One thing that I would recommend is over the next 2 weeks, leading up to our next retro, is keeping notes locally somewhere about the appreciations, what went well, what could be improved, so that when the retro comes next time, you already have your list of things to share, and we can cut that 15 minutes down to more like 10 minutes, because you're just ready to like pop them in there. So does anybody have any questions? I saw something go in chat. Was that the link? No. Okay. I'm going to send this link in the Zoom chat. So pop in there, and let me show you this real quick too. You could create 3 separate cards here, but what we found is the easiest is if you do something like this, Stacie, and then pop down here and just do like appreciation 1, 2, 3. Just keep it all together so that you can just like bust through yours really fast without having to like dig around for them. So you'll probably have 1 card in each with up to 3 things that you want to mention. Sound good? Any questions? Good. All right, here comes the link. And I'm going to stop my screen share. And we'll meet back in 15 minutes. When you're done, go ahead and post in the chat that you're done. Just say done. And then if people finish before that, then we'll just go ahead and keep rolling. Good? All right, let's rock and roll. Okay, we'll give it 3 more minutes for anybody who's not done. One more minute. All right, I'm gonna get started. And if you're still making notes, that's totally fine. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go in that random order that I posted and we'll read through the cards. Let me pull my chat back up so I can have that random order. And we probably, in a normal retro, what you would likely do is choose a few things that you are going to commit to working on in the next sprint. We won't have time to do that on this meeting, so generally we'll just coordinate in Slack on the top 1, 2, maybe 3 things that we want to pursue focusing on for the next sprint. So let's start with Jennifer. Do you want to go over your appreciations?
Yeah. Yeah. So after working with Jonathan this week, I really appreciate his attitude because every day he's always like, oh, my computer's like acting up or something like that. But he's always like just ready to go. And he's like, hey, what's up? So I really appreciate that. And he's like always down to he's just hardworking and really communicative. So I really appreciate that. And Aisling, I really appreciated working with you the first week. I know you kept telling me that you're like, I'm having a hard time. I don't really know what's going on. And I was just like, she was still willing to commit all the time and the effort to like go and learn and ask really good questions, even though she wasn't really sure of what she was doing. And I just really appreciated that from her. And I know we could only do 3, but I really liked working with Diane too. Because even though we were like only had like a really quick meeting, I could tell like she really wants to like have the structure for things and really thinks out things. And so I really appreciated the quick call I had with Diane. So next week I'll probably have more to say. And all the mentors, even though we haven't been able to like finish the PRs as like quickly before the weekend due to work schedules and things like that, like you guys are always around, and it's we really appreciate that. And I saw like Lauren made like some comments this morning at maybe as soon as, I don't know how early you wake up, and I know you're in a different time zone, but for me it says that you made those comments at like 4 a.m. So so thank you so much for all the mentors just being really, really available and really taking the time to like go through our code line by line, because that takes a lot of effort and time to do that. So thank you.
I love it. Great job. Thank you, Jennifer. Aisling.
Yeah, so I think one thing myself and Diane did this week is we kind of approached the project step by step, which for me was really good, just to compartmentalize how things come together. So that was something that went really well, and I think we were both on the same page with that. Yeah, I did 4, sorry, and I think it took me so long to get into this thing because I wasn't signed in for a while, so I didn't realize I had to write on it. But yeah, the React resources, really appreciate that they're out there, and thank you, Diane, for sharing that with me, because it's not something I'm using that often, so that was really good. Lauren spent like over an hour with me last Sunday after we all finished, trying to help me with Node modules, which was just incredible. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And Diane was just incredibly kind all week with all of her information and just very patient with me, as was Jen the week before. As she mentioned, she just is a wealth of knowledge. Both our people are a wealth of knowledge. And John has been really kind on Slack as well, which was really great. Just when you're kind of feeling a little bit, you know, unmotivated or whatever during the week, it's nice to see people still putting in things and keeping the ball rolling. Yeah, so I think just generally everybody's kindness, but also just like the resources that have been put in, like some of the React resources, and just, you know, maybe taking a step back and looking at it from a different perspective. I've been really appreciative to have the opportunity to do that.
I love it. Thank you, Aisling. Lauren.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was really just so appreciative of everyone, like the cross-team collaboration that started happening this week. Especially, I just was really impressed with that, like helping each other out. I love that so much. Let's see, Aisling was so patient. Like, it must have been so frustrating that first week to just not have that project working on your machine, and it was a hard problem. Like, it was hard to figure out, and honestly I don't even know if the solution that we did was the best solution, but it was an solution. And now you can do that. So I just really appreciate your patience and kind of tenacity and sticking with it. Like, I think other people would have been, okay, enough with that. Diane, same, great tenacity and like just sticking with problems that were challenging and hard and just working through it. And like, I also want to encourage everyone, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. And I understand that like sometimes it's really fun to like solve a problem by yourself too. Like, but it's hard to balance those things, I think. But I think Diane did a great job doing that. And Stacie, thank you for being such a great example mentor for us. Like, just always reminding with your actions remind us like what a great mentor should be. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. John, you're next, all the way at the top. Do we still have John with us? I know he's having issues. Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah, I'm here. I hooked up to my hotspot on my phone, so hopefully I got good service.
It's been great right now.
Awesome. Okay. First of all, with Jen, like I put on this card. Also, wealth of knowledge. Everything, I guess we've got a friend in common now, and everything she said was actually true, even though Jen probably doesn't think so, but she is. Also, appreciate that she's just willing to explain everything if I don't know anything. Sometimes I guess this could be on what I could do better, but I could do better. Be like, nah, you know what? Maybe she should explain it to me instead of me trying to figure things out sometimes. But as far as Diane goes, since I've only worked with them two, she's pretty much just like Jen as well. Knows a lot about React, even though she says she doesn't. She actually does. And again, also willing to learn, just take some, just willing to learn and also teach as well. I don't know everything, even though I think I do, but I don't. And the whole team, actually, everyone's been pretty awesome, willing to help even at odd hours, and willing to allow us to be sponges and just learn from all of you guys' experience. And yeah, that's all I've got.
I love it. Great work. Joey, there you are.
Yeah. So just before I go, Lauren, I love the piano in your background. That was awesome. I always
Yeah, everyone's practicing. They're working on a trio.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I guess I just want to highlight how well everybody is handling the pull request process when it happens. Everybody is so responsive on everything, whether it's like a comment on a pull request or the action actually address an issue on a pull request. Y'all are working so fast, and that's so good to see. And I really hope that you're getting more comfortable with pull requests. Hopefully they aren't as scary now, and hopefully going forward you're just going to keep getting better at it, from both sides. So kudos to everybody on that. And something I wanted to add was just the appreciation for Stacie and Andrew for this whole process, being such awesome facilitators for this whole thing. And I'm sure everybody else can echo the same thing. They're making this such an enjoyable experience. So yeah, kudos to y'all.
Thank you. Okay, Diane.
Yeah, so I wrote all the mentors being available and super encouraging. It really helps to know that someone is cheering you on when you're stuck. And shout out to Lauren for being my mentor for these past 2 weeks. But yeah, I don't know, like everyone is just super encouraging all the time. Even the little emojis make me feel like happy to see that somebody's responded to something I slacked. It's just nice to know that there's a team out there looking out for you. And I really appreciated the structure of the projects with the issues and tasks. It just helps me understand like what I'm actually tackling, not doing too much if it's not in the AC, and also like just knowing that in 8 weeks we're going to be having blown through all these issues, and I'm really excited to see what the app is going to look like. But yeah, thanks to collab-lab. Really appreciate all that, the effort that you guys put into preparing it for us. And I appreciated, all my teammates, working with Aisling and John and even Jen on our quick phone call. Like everyone is just on the same level. We're not like, we're all trying to learn as much as we can or remember React, but we're all here, and like I really feel good working with them, and I appreciated every conversation I've had with them. Yeah, that was
awesome.
Am I supposed to go through all of them? Yeah, no.
Yep.
But
Do
yeah.
you have all? Do you want to keep going?
Nope, but just
awesome. Thank you. Okay, I'll run through mine super quick. Lauren and Joey for being super mega awesome ultra mentors. You are amazing, and I don't even have to think twice. I just know that you're handling everything and giving great support, which is fantastic. I appreciate all of you for working so hard during such an uncertain, like kind of traumatic time in our lives and in our world. That's super notable, and I super appreciate it. And I appreciate all of the knowledge sharing that's going on. That is what dream teams are made of, and you are killing it and doing an amazing job. So great work to everyone. Okay, we are running out of time. Can anybody not stay for another 15 minutes? It's totally fine if you cannot. If you have to dip, this whole thing is being recorded. What we'll do is we'll run through, let's skip what went well. Let's all commit to like reading through that on our own. A lot of it I think is going to be echoes of what's in the appreciations at this point. We'll quickly fly through the what could be improved section, and then we'll do breakout rooms with anybody who is left to kind of go over a plan for next week and answer any questions that remain. Good? Okay, let's all just try and go really fast for this one. Okay, starting from the top again. Jennifer, it's you on things that could be improved.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere on what Stacie said. It's like just be more loud or like more noise or something like that. I think it'd be great if we had like daily check-ins just to see like what we're up to, because sometimes I haven't like seen anything in Slack recently and I'm like, hey everybody, what's up? What are you working on? Just to, especially this last week, so that we could like sync up better. And then maybe just like, I know it's asking a lot, but even just like committing to a quick like 5-minute call at the beginning and middle of the week, so that like we can all put our heads together, kind of like the same thing, just like, hey, what are you working on? Do you have any issues? Do you need any help to go in any directions? And then if all 4 of us don't know, then maybe we should ask a mentor. So that's it.
I love it. Aisling.
Yeah, I would echo what Jen said there, like further communication. I think one thing we were a little bit confused about was the local storage. We probably should have followed up on that a bit sooner. So yeah, I think the weekly check-ins or bi-weekly or however, every 2 days or something, I think that's good. And yeah, as you say, like if we don't know, then to pull in the mentors, I think that's really good. Yeah, exact same thing.
So I'm hearing loud, more communication. Lauren.
Same for me. More communication from all of us. I think that will set us up for success. And then I have a suggestion, maybe earlier in the week, like if you have code that isn't working, don't be afraid to commit that code. It is okay. Just commit it, and even like start a PR earlier in the week. And then you can say, hey, I put some code up in GitHub if you want to take a look at it. It doesn't mean that that's like, this is my finished product and it's ready to go. I think having a draft PR up earlier in the week might be useful.
Totally. Draft PRs are amazing. Okay, John, there you are.
Yeah. All right. So I totally like the idea about, just getting together as a group and just, talking things through what everything just needs to be done. What I can do is I'm not gonna lie, it was hectic this week and I need to do better at managing my time and meeting up a little bit more and figuring out this internet issue. But I think we're doing a pretty darn good job, and just need to continue with all the communication. I guess just staying in contact with each other a little bit more too. That would be my only suggestion.
That's great. Joey.
Yeah, kind of echoing what was said earlier with the draft pull requests. Getting those out early, even when a feature is not complete or it's not working, more eyes are on it faster, and we can address something that you might have been stuck on that maybe someone else has experience on and you may not just have spent enough time on it. So I think maybe an action item we can take into our next week is to, no matter what, maybe have a draft pull request by, Wednesday or something, and then try to close that off in the coming days.
I love it. I think that is a sound addition to our tool belt, draft PRs. Diane.
Yeah, basically just echoing what everyone said. This week, because we had to depend on the other teams' PR, I think we didn't really understand like just what we were supposed to do at some point. So yeah, probably having a draft PR already out, because literally a quick phone call with Lauren for like 5-10 minutes and it was like, that's what we have to do, and it was super quick. So yeah, just I'm super down with midweek calls. I know that for me this past week it was a little hectic in the end of the week. So with Ashley, yeah, she was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, I can't today. Today's canceled." So yeah, it's just nice to have a more daily meetups. I wrote that. Yeah, I tried installing dependencies the 2 last weeks, like for each task, and they never worked out. But I mean, we tried, but we probably could have saved some time. And yeah, commenting on PRs are still weird for me. Just don't know what to comment sometimes, but I'll be working on it. That's it.
That's fair. That sounds great. Okay, mine were, I think we could improve on creating more robust PR descriptions, especially as we're going in to do draft PRs, like letting us know like what the acceptance criteria were and stuff right there so that we can see it, maybe some approaches that you tried taking and a little bit more about what we can expect as we're digging through it. It's easy right now because we kind of know what's going on in the project build, but like as it starts to get a little more robust, it's going to be helpful to like for other people on the team to be able to jump in, read more about what you're actually doing in pull request. This isn't on you all. This is like a process thing. We need a better way to like be loud about what the state of PRs are. So I've been kind of thinking about some ways we can automate things with like reacties and stuff. Maybe like if it's ready for your partners, react to you with something and there's a new message or some just way to be louder about like, so that we can understand where things are throughout the week, which goes along with more communication, I suppose. And like everybody said, even more noise would be amazing and help us stay together a little bit better and move forward faster. I think this global pandemic is affecting all of us in this way that is distracting, and it's hard to like keep up on things, and it will be Thursday and you're like, shoot, what is even happening? Which is totally fair. This is like such a strange time. So I think that throughout this retro, I think like there's 2 really solid themes. One is draft PRs. So let's commit to next week getting a draft PR up with a good description by Wednesday, so that we can kind of just see where the state of everything is. And let's all just be louder. I don't think we necessarily need to commit to having like calls at certain times, but if you want to host calls, if you want to like suggest calls to the team at different times and coordinate that kind of stuff, like totally up to you. But I think if we all just make a commitment to like be a little bit louder and communicate more, I think that will kind of satisfy that that need. Does that sound good? Anybody have last thoughts on that before we shift gears again?
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
So for like commits, what are your all thoughts commits on like work in progress commits and then like squashing the commits together after? Like what do you have any advice, or like do you want us to start doing that to do the draft PRs? Because sometimes it's not really commit worthy, do you know what I mean? Because it's like still broken, and I don't know. I personally don't like committing broken things, but I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are that.
I mean, sometimes you have to commit broken things. Like if you're going to get, help on them or feedback on them, you got to commit them, push them up. I also like, there'll be different ways you'll handle this on different like professional dev teams, but here we're a lot less concerned about that kind of thing. So as far as collab-lab goes, commit as often as you need to, pushing up. I wouldn't worry about like a clean commit history here. Joey and Lauren, I'm sure will have lots of insight on how they handle it in their jobs. But as far as collab-lab goes, do whatever you feel is good, but just get things up so that we can collaborate better on them.
I commit broken stuff all the time. I don't like to end the day without committing to where I'm at and coming back the next day and just kind of being like, what the heck was I even working on? So getting good at writing good commit messages to kind of echo the state you're at, even if things are broken, is super important, I feel like, at least for me. So it might feel weird, but I mean, don't be afraid to commit broken stuff, because I mean, sometimes you just have to get it up there. And when you do, just try to be good in your commit description and explain what's going on.
Agree. Anybody else? Thoughts?
Yeah, I commit broken things all the time. And maybe a good practice is to make tiny changes, and then you can commit like, okay, I know that this thing works, so I'm just going to commit right now. So then you have like you've added an input field, right? Commit that. make another change. I added this variable, whatever, like commit that. So you have this sort of steady commit history of things that did work, but I personally am not afraid of committing broken things.
Yep, no fear.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, let's move on to next week. Next week is going to be week 3. It looks like Jennifer and Diane and John and Ashling. The issues are 5, as a user, I want to join an existing shopping list so that I can share a shopping list with somebody else. So getting that token so that you can pass it to other people and they can enter it in and be taken to that shopping list. And number 6, as a user, I want to be alerted when I'm entering an item that's the same as something already on the list, so I can avoid duplicate items. So, you know, you enter in apples, it checks the database. If apples is already there, you get alerted, that's already on the list. Any of those jump out to anybody? Want to snag them?
I don't know about Dan, but duplicates?
Okay. Number 3, Jennifer and Diane are going to be on number 6, which is actually issue number 7. And John and Ashling, you'll be on 5. So, any mentors care about whichever one? If not, Lauren's on top for me. You can go to this one on top, and I'll put Joey on this one.
Okay.
Okay, so Lauren and John and Ashling, I'm going to do these breakout rooms. Let me stop my screen share. That might be easier. Breakout rooms, manually create them. Number 1, Lauren, John, Ashling. I'm going to get fast at this someday. Until then, slow. Okay, open all rooms. Okay, this was a great demo in retro. We'll do the same thing again in 2 weeks. Pop into these breakout rooms and let's get rolling on week 3.
Cool.
Okay, so good to see you all that I don't see in this next one.
Bye.
Yep. See ya. Hello.
Hi. Can you all see each other? How's this open breakout room? Wait.